Hey everyone, welcome to a new Requiem build showcase. This time around, I'm going to be showing you all how to make a werewolf build in 3BFTweaks. Before we get started, I'm playing on the La La Land 2.0 mod list, but I wanted to call out two major changes. The first is that I removed the At Your Own Pace series of mods that comes with the list. All of this is technically possible with it, but the companion's questline would just take a lot longer to get going and be a lot more tedious, and I wanted to be able to run this actually at the pace that I want to. So those mods got yeeted. The other is the Favorite Howls mod, which I think is in La La Land by default, but it's so important, so I just wanted to call it out. Gives you access to a favorites menu in your wolf form, and more importantly, gives you a power to revert back to human form at will. And again, this just makes things so much less tedious to play. So, what's the build? We're playing a Breton because they get longer lasting spells, Stone of the Mage so we can cast those spells, and for now, we're taking Stendarr's Blessing for the sword damage. But we'll go with Hircine soon enough. We're going to start in the Bannered Mare because this is absolutely the best place to start when you're playing as a Breton.
And choose where you...
Come on in. We got warm food, warm drinks, and warm beds.
Starting off, we'll take an Iron Greatsword, because iron gives us lower stamina costs, which we sorely need. And we'll take some mage gear, get this circlet, and of course, potions. Now, I said the Bannered Mare is the best place to start because you can steal or buy all the ingredients that you need to make the unique Breton foods. So, we're taking some gold, we're grabbing venison, potatoes, and then we'll buy all the other things that we need.
Drink for the thirsty, food for the hungry.
Odds and ends, that sort of thing.
Oh yeah, we need salt too. Now, we just go to the cooking pot and we make Evermorian Cassoulet, which is the health and stamina food. And then we're off to join the companions. We've got a quest to brawl with Nazim. We could go do that now, but I want to wait until I can get the Dex 15 perk for more unarmed damage. Speaking of which, I never took my starting 3 perks, so let's do that now. We're going to take Illusion for Shadow Cloak, which is the renamed Blur. We'll take Restoration so we can heal. And the first point in Dexterity. Our goal now is going to be to get around 1,000 gold and to hit level 2, which means it's time to take on everyone's favorite bandit camp. So Ember Shard is really going to be a test of our skill here. See, we've got no armor, we've got nothing but an Iron Greatsword, and we are the race with the worst stamina in the game, hands down. So it's just all going to be about fundamentals. Bait out enemy attacks, strike back when you can, and make sure to manage your stamina well.
You're as good as dead.
Thought I heard something.
Or you can be like me, and with every single one of your hits,
Wait to count out your coin.
alright, so the rest of these bandit fights are just going to be pretty much the same.
Kill you.
And 3 insights. Not bad.
Do your work.
Now for the archer, we're going to put up our shadow cloak and try to run in and break his bow. Juke those arrows. And there we go. We'll also take out the treasure map 1 bandits. Ooh, a ring of peerless speed. Grab another chest. And that gives us just barely not enough insight to level up.
Well done.
That's okay. We'll kick off the main quest. Warning the Jarl gives us 1 more. And we'll grab that dex perk that I was talking about. Now, we can finally go and give Nazim what he deserves.
Do you get to the Cloud District very often? You can't scare me into submission. Let's go. Come on. Let's see what you're made of. Give up while you still can!
I mentioned earlier that we wanted around 1,000 gold. That was so that we could buy a teleport scroll, something Foreign just added in the new FTweaks 2.0. These behave basically like intervention scrolls from Morrowind, teleporting you to a particular location, and they're going to be the key to letting us clear Dustman's cairn.
Yourself. So I'm told. Let's see if you impress.
Now, the first part of this dungeon should be fairly simple, because Farkas is going to carry us through all of the fights. Or not. Man, Breton's stamina is such a struggle. Let's get a sword upgrade, and hopefully Farkas will be more helpful this time around. Oh, I don't even have blur up. Whoops. Okay, wait. I'm pretty sure you're just broken.
I cannot best you.
What is this? Nothing some console magic can't fix. And that's more like it. So we'll make our way towards the end. Yo, the fight's not over, man. Jesus. At least you decided to wake up against these guys. Against all odds, we made it to the final room. And as I promised, this is yet another way to cheese this last fight. Cool. So things are looking up now. We just gotta beat up one more guy, kill an unfortunate old shopkeeper, and then we're set to join the circle and take on the beast blood. Score says to wait until night though, which means we've got an entire day to kill. So we're headed to Falkreath to clear out some bandits to make things easier for us later. Specifically, we want to take out the guys up on that bridge and on the hill to the left. Now, This bridge is kind of tricky because you can't really dodge side to side, so the archers have a good shot on you. Thankfully, the combination of Shadow Cloak and Forn's banded archer nerfs lets us survive, if only barely. The second guy is a pretty poor shot, so we can go ahead and take him out.
You ready to die today, huh?
Once we're done there, it's just about time to head back to Skjor. Take Hircine's blessing, and then we can finally take on the main goal for this build, lycanthropy.
All these younglings scampering around.
Now, this is important. As soon as you detransform, you want to run. If you can fast travel away, do that. But since I'm using Tally's mod, which prevents me from doing that, I have to run on foot. Now, the reason for this is, if you let Aola talk to you after the transformation, she becomes your permanent follower until you clear Gallows Rock. And I cannot clear Gallows Rock right now. So, we have to avoid that happening. So we're just going to head towards Windhelm, and then we'll take a carriage down to Falkreath. So as you might have guessed, the last piece of the puzzle is that we want the Ring of Hircine, so we can transform as much as we want. And now that we're a wolf, we can start Hircine's quest. This is also why I wanted to clear this area out earlier. The white stag we have to hunt is fast and hard to chase down, and we don't really want bandits bothering us while we're doing this. Now, of course, to keep up with him, we're going to use our newfound power. I get stuck on some terrain here, but so does the stag. And that's that.
Never thought I'd see you. And I can't stop.
Of course, for the second part of this quest, we're going to side with Sinding, and because he's a werewolf, we can really just let him do most of the work.
Now let's deal with these other hunters.
We've been betrayed. Look out! That's all you've got. Victory is yours. I submit.
Just give up.
And with that, we've got everything
Never thought
we
I'd see
need
you
to
again.
get this build rolling.
Thank you for your help.
Go forth with my blessing.
The werewolf, at first glance, is not a very good option. You do good damage, sure, but you're forced into third person. Your hitboxes are really bad, and you can't access your inventory or use any items. Also, your only way of healing is to feed on dead bodies, which locks you into this long feeding animation where you can't move at all. There's just one saving grace that turns you from weak to busted: the Howl of Terror. This thing is an AoE fear spell that works on any living creature that is level 20 or below, which means it trivializes all bandits except for the highest level boss bandits, who are level 24. It also lets you cancel out of your feeding animation, which makes healing in combat much safer and consuming bodies for perks go much faster. Once you take the Totem of Terror perk, the threshold for fear increases to level 30, which means you're now safe to take on pretty much every bandit camp. See what I mean about really jank hitboxes? And for the named bandits, who are extra high level, you still have the classic werewolf knockdown. Feels really bad to fight against, but now the tables have turned. And it's strong enough to knock down even giants, which means we can also start taking those bounties. this is a nice robe find. And just in time too. With all the insights that we've gotten, we can level up and take the Apprentice Alteration perk, which gives us Transmute muscles. This is important because it gives us 30 extra unarmed damage, and Werewolf Claw damage is unarmed damage. You might also realize where some of the earlier pieces I talked about come in now. The Dexterity perk that we took also increases our claw damage, and the Breton racial ability of longer lasting spells is nice for sustaining all our buffs when we can't recast them without detransforming. But let's go ahead and finish up Whiterun's Bandits, and then we can move on to Dawnstar. This is a good time to go pay a visit to a certain museum we've been invited to.
First visitor.
What? You're gonna bring a random murderer to your house? What did you expect? Now the reason we're doing this is that his gloves and boots give you more magicka regen, and his amulet reduces the cost of all your spells when you have full magicka, which are all really useful. Now I will say, doing this locks you out of a lot of nice things, like Marin's Razor, the Daedric Smithing Book, and the Master Destruction Robes. So it's not really worth it on a lot of builds. But for this one, it's fine. And we're back to bounty farming. You can see the pattern here. Use our Howl to disable everybody, and then clean up house with our claws. The last place we'll clear out is Windhelm. There are a lot of bounties here. Oh wow. Ghoul's unique new enemy is below level 30. I'll take it. Water walking wolf is fun. And we'll give him the usual. After we turn in all these bounties, this is what we're looking at. Alteration and Restoration to Adept, and Illusion to Expert at 60. So what's next? Let's talk about Hircine's Blessing. He gives us two major bonuses in our wolf form, one for physical defense and one for magical defense. We're already getting the magic defense from holding the Ring of Hircine, but for his physical defense, we need to boost our creatures killed stat. These 12 are from the giant bounties that I've done, but we need a whopping 400 to max out his blessing. Now, what in this game is not a person, animal, undead, Daedra, or automaton, and can be found in large numbers? Fuck. It's gotta be a cruel joke on Forn's part that he made the build most weak to poison have to grind it out against the most poisonous enemies in the game. Well, actually, the damage is pretty manageable, but these visuals are completely unplayable. Yeah, let's try that again. Some of these Falmer are actually high level enough to be immune to our Fear spell, but they're not immune to our Claws. And it's not all of them either. Falmer hitboxes are wonky even when you're using normal weapons, so adding these Claws in really doesn't help. That's alright, we'll get him eventually. There we go. It's worth mentioning that while one of the biggest threats while you're fighting these guys is their paralyzing poisons, the werewolf race is immune to paralysis. So even though we take double damage from poison, we can't get knocked down by it, which means as long as we can keep healing, we're fine. Here we go. Can we kill a Dwarven Centurion? Well, we're not able to knock it down, because it's way too massive for that. We do, in fact, stagger it with all of our sprinting power attacks. This, combined with our much faster movement speed, means that it really can't catch us. And it's dead. So the grind continues. This dungeon opens up into a big room at the end with lots of enemies. But even in big groups like this one, as you can see, only about half of them are going to be above level 30, which means you can focus down the actual threats and not get swarmed. Balmer dens are annoyingly evenly spread out across the entire map. And I've done about half of them and only have 100 creatures killed. So what else can we do? Turns out the answer is on Solstheim. Reeklings are Solstheim's version of these pests, and just like Falmer, they're numerous and they hit like trucks. Unlike Falmer, they're all below level 30, so we can farm them to our heart's content. Our main targets are going to be that one cave with the black book in it, Castle Karstag, and Bristleback Cave. Don't forget to grab the extra boss chest in this one. This is where Forn put the new armor, Templar armor, which is a great defensive heavy armor. Oh shit, that's a lot of Reeklings. I've never done this dungeon before, and it's pretty big. It just keeps going. Wait, who are you? You're not a Reekling. Oh, it's one of Ghoul's unique enemies. I didn't know he put them on Solstheim too. I like that he added some lore. This character's letter mentions Grak and Graza, who are two of Ghoul's other unique enemies in Vile Gulch Mine. The other big upgrade we can get on Solstheim is the Frost Moon Rings, which give us various benefits while we're in our werewolf form.
Hold, traveler.
They also cost a lot, so the only one we'll buy right now is the Ring of Bloodlust, which gives us double claw damage while we're in werewolf form. We've also managed to hit 200 creatures killed, which is where I want to be. It gets us 80% of the way to Hircine's Max Blessing, with only 50% of the work. And between Mage Armor 4, Shadow Shield, and that extra 400 armor, we're over the armor cap, and that is important because we're about to face an entirely new type of challenge. You might notice that we're over level 20 and we haven't done a single Draugr dungeon. That's for good reason. 1, the undead are immune to the Howl of Terror. 2, we can't heal off of consuming their bodies. Which means also, 3, we can't sustain our werewolf form for very long without detransforming. Our damage is still pretty good, of course, but now we actually have to be careful not to get hit. We also have to remember to revert and refresh our own werewolf form every now and then, or we'll be forced out in the middle of combat when it would be really bad because this transforming animation is really long and locks you out of any movement until it's done. Ooh, gotta dodge that shout. We're immune to Unrelenting Force because we have enough magic resistance, but Frost Breath will still hurt. We can also get our Shadow Simulacrum to take some aggro for us. For the Storm Atronax, we take a potion of shock resistance before we transform. Here we go. kind of struggling on the hitboxes on the big guy. But we got him. Now, the thing about the Frostmoon rings is that we can't wear them at the same time as the Ring of Hircine. So we're limited to the standard beast form, which is a once-a-day power. This means that we have to choose our buffed fights carefully, but I think this Dragon Priest is absolutely worth the use. Let's go. Time to get this main quest started. Most of BFB is nothing new. The last room, we won't be able to take it on all at once, so we'll use the normal strategy of baiting them out into the corridor a few at a time. Or, you know, at least, not running into the room like a madman. Whenever our health gets too low, or we've been transformed for a while, we just gotta retreat to heal up and reset the werewolf timer. And that's it. Unfortunately, we can't use our transformation for the first dragon fight, because Irileth and the guards are around. Instead, we'll just go with the usual healing hands to let Irileth carry.
Take him down. It's our best chance.
Dude, please get out of my way. And well, if that fails, luckily for us, foreign-made dragon's allergic to sunlight in the latest update, so we can still finish him off. Then it's time to talk to some old men on a mountain, retrieve a scrap of paper from a tomb, and get to our first real dragon fight. For this one, again, we'll use our Ring of Bloodlust to get double damage. Ooh, it's a Drain Vitality dragon. I don't feel like waiting to see what element he is, since the transform animation takes a while, so I'm just going to drink both fire and frost resist potions.
Hear my voice and despair.
Don't know why it sounded like I got hit there. But in any case, 700 damage per claw attack is not bad. We take a bad wing slap there, but it's okay. There's a single dead Stormcloak here we can use to heal off of. And now we can see Howl canceling coming in handy again.
Hiding will not save you.
He's grounded. And man, how did I miss all of those hits? In any case, that's Salaknir. Before we go any further, let's take on an old nemesis to get one last gear upgrade. Funny enough, Mages plus Draugr is actually easier than playing Draugr, because it's starting to sound like a broken record here. But yeah, we can feed on the mage bodies to heal. So this is a problem. I can't open this door without the key. I can't pick up the key without reverting. And I don't really want to revert while those mages are shooting at me from the walkway up there. Well, that works. Bruh. We're not falling for this a second time. You get over here, you need to die.
They burned his body before I could raise him.
And yeah, this is why you don't villain monologue. So the reward that we're looking for is the robes that she's wearing, which gives us 100 magicka and a bunch of regen. The Thalmor Embassy really doesn't pose a threat, and neither do the Forsworn at Skyhaven Temple.
This one's mine.
First zone of Raldbathar is bandits, and then just constructs. So we need to rush through it so that the time we're getting from feeding on bandits will sustain us through the construct portion. The second zone is mostly Falmer, which we know how to handle. This Centurion's AI seems to be pretty broken. Anyway, for the enchanted sphere in here, we'll put up a scroll of lightning cloak so that we can slow his regen. So it turns out that having scrolls equipped when you transform results in some glitchy behavior. That's okay. We can still kill him with just one hand. And now, the strategy for Blackreach is to use another Frostmoon ring, the Ring of the Hunt, which gives us a huge 25 health per second while in wolf form. Of course, like Bloodlust, we can only use it for one transformation a day, which is why we chose to do the Raldbathar entrance. It's the closest one to the Elder Scroll, and there's nothing except Falmer on the way. Okay, even though we have fast regen, that doesn't mean that we can play stupid. Let's be a little bit safer, shall we? Man, it's a lot of arrows flying at me. There's some bullet hell shit right here. But between the armor cap, all the bodies to feed off of, and the regeneration ring, things are still pretty safe, even though we have our weakness to poison. Let's kill the other sphere and get that Elder Scroll. And even with that, we're still not at 400 creatures killed. I give up. Thorn, you gotta reduce that number. In any case, let's read the Ogma for Magicka so that we can cast Mage Armor 5. And here's the full build at level 31. This is what it's all been building up to. How does one kill Alduin as a werewolf? The problem is this. Alduin is invulnerable while he's flying, and we can't use Dragon Rend in wolf form. So we have to swap back and forth to be able to deal good damage. Now, the ideal situation is if we're able to use Dragon Rend right at the start, transform, and bring him down to 35 health when he gets grounded in the duration of one Dragon Rend. However, this requires a lot of damage, and the only way we're going to get that is with a third Frostmoon ring, the Ring of Instinct. This ring gives us a massive slow time effect at the start of our transformation. It doesn't last very long, only 60 seconds, but neither does Dragon Rend, so that's not even a limiting factor. Alright, let's do this. here we go. Well, at least we got a few good hits in before Todd started taking over. I've been complaining about werewolf hitboxes this entire run, but nowhere is it more evident than in this fight. Now, the nice thing about slow time is that you can easily react to all of Alduin's attacks, so he can't really hit you with anything besides wing slaps. I think the double damage ring will actually work for this as well, but this is just the really safe option. And there's 35%, as promised. Our time stop is about to run out, but it doesn't matter anymore. He's not getting off the ground. And with that, we basically hit our limit with the damage output on the wolf form. Unfortunately for us, Skuldafn and Sovngarde take everything that we're bad against and crank it up to 11. Alduin has significantly more health than on the mountain. He summons a huge army of Draugr and other good stuff, and it's still the case that we can't Dragon Rend him without reverting and losing our Frost Moon buff. So, unless we can figure out a way around these limitations, the run is going to have to end here. Unless... Alright, here's the trick. Grab the Secret Servant Black Book Power, or your favorite follower rings too. Give them the ring that you want to use. Then talk to them and transform at the exact same time. Wait for your transformation to completely finish, then open up their inventory and equip the ring back. When you revert, you'll notice that you're wearing both the Ring of Hircine and your Frost Moon ring. Cheaty? Yeah, maybe. But we gotta do what we gotta do. If you think this is immersion breaking, just pretend like we have multiple fingers or something. We're not even gonna bother with the outside of Skuldafn. Just hop into Shadow Sanctuary and make your way towards the temple. For the interior, this won't work because we have to interact with the puzzles. So run. Don't bother looking at the animals, just memorize how many turns you have to spin each one, and whatever you do, don't stop moving. Nakreen and his friends will be waiting at the top. Burst him down, grab his staff, escape to the safety of Sovngarde. This is the end, guys. Put up all the buffs, clear the skies, and get yourselves ready. Our goal for the first time stop is to deal as much damage to Alduin's army as we can, which under the effects of 25% slow time are basically sitting ducks. Then it's time for Alduin himself. As I said before, we can't deal enough damage in one time stop. So now it's time to retreat, revert, heal back up. Third time's the charm. He's grounded, and with a few more hits, it's over. Alright, that's going to be it for the werewolf build. Made it all the way to the World Eater. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the new format. And I'll see you in the next one.